Joining me now is House of Delegates member Charniele Herring. She represents the 46th District. That is part of Alexandria. She's a Democrat. And Delegate Herring, welcome to the John Fredericks Show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
So my first question is, do you have a question for Senator Sanders, who's coming up in an hour?
No, I don't. I've been focusing on our work here in the legislature.
Right.
But it's interesting to see things play out. But I have certainly been focused on what we're doing here in Richmond in our short period of time in session.
Okay. Now, let's get politics, Charniele, out of the way. Are you a potential candidate for lieutenant governor in 2017?
Well, look, I haven't ruled anything out, and right now, again, I'm concentrating on session and being the best caucus chair I can be. We've got, our budget just rolled out on Sunday, and so, we're going through the budget right now. There's time to make a decision, but I haven't ruled anything out. But right now, I'm just focusing on the task at hand, which is our session.
Okay, so you've not ruled out a run for lieutenant governor in 2017. I just want to be clear.
That's correct.
Okay, well, I'll take that as a yes.
Now, no.
I will definitely take
it as you want, but as I said, I haven't ruled it out, so we'll see.
Okay, well, that's a good political answer, right? You
got it's the truth.
couple more weeks till before the session ends. Now, the Republican leadership rolled out a budget on Sunday. We had a Majority Leader Kirk Cox on yesterday, telling me, look, this is a very solid document. It fills a lot of holes. And it seemed to be not a lot of discrepancies between the House budget and the governor's budget from his point of view. What say you?
Well, I'm still reviewing it. It looks like a pretty good budget, but I'm still reviewing, and in fact, our members are being briefed after session. There may have been funding for things that we're interested in a different way, and so I reserve judgment on that. But on its face, it looks like certainly a lot of work went in, and I can say that both sides of the aisle work together, and this is something that I know my members take seriously, and it's been useful that Chairman Jones has had budget briefings and called members into his office early on and for input, and that's been helpful.
Delegate Herring, how inclusive has Republican leadership been? Look, reality is they've got a supermajority. They control all the committees. They have supermajorities on all the committees. So, they can go one way or the other. Chairman Jones has a reputation for being a pretty open guy. But be candid. How inclusive has Republican leadership been?
I'm going to be candid. I think that, certainly they have control of the chamber, so their agenda, is put on the forefront. That's what it is. But I will say this, I think, and with our members when people open the door and say, hey, let's sit down and talk, I think that there is an opportunity for members to do so. Now, there are certainly some hotly contested issues, but I will say that this session, I've commented earlier to someone else, seems to be the most in the recent years of a session where people seem to have worked together and come to the table and made deals for the better of the Commonwealth, and that's important. We may have different political views, of course, absolutely, but there are things that we can agree on, and that's what we need to focus on. And I think that Virginians and honestly people across the nation are tired of the divisiveness, and they like to see people work together to get things done.
Sure. Now, what do you think was the catalyst or the genesis for kind of the new attitude of cooperation?
I'm not sure. I can say our governor's leadership and sitting down early on with Chairman Jones, for example, in the budget. I know that they have had a series of meetings, And I think it's also leadership for both caucuses in the House that there's a decision that we're going to try to work together to get things done instead of constant bickering. And absolutely, we're going to have debates. I think it's healthy for democracy that we have debates. We have differing views on things, and that's healthy. That's a good thing. It's not necessarily bad, but it seems to be more of a calmer atmosphere in the chamber. And I hope I don't speak too soon. We're almost near the end of session, but this year, as compared to some other years I've been here, it's been a little friendlier.
It seems to be, for those that observe it like I do, there seems to be more of a spirit of cooperation, and there doesn't seem to be some of the acrimony that I've seen there in the past. And I think, one of the things that helps, it's you're not going into an election cycle. That's the other thing that's helpful, because when you have that, there's a lot of positioning. People are looking for wedge issues and things of that nature. We haven't seen that now, so hopefully things will...
Hopefully it can continue on. It's good to get things done, and so you can bring it back to your district. And when there's time for an election, you can talk about the things that you've done for the people in your district.
All right, no question. I got to go to a quick word from Delegate Herring. What has been so far in this General Assembly session 2016 the number one thing that you absolutely want to get done?
That's a broad. I think I can't narrow it to one, but I'll try.
Handful.
A handful of things. I'm making sure that for me personally, that of course my legislation is successful. I've had some bills go over to the Senate, and things from protecting students' intellectual property rights at universities so that they can, be innovative and have their property rights protected, so that they can start their business with whatever they have worked on, in college. And I think that's very important to me, and it's important for our economy. And also one of the other biggest accomplishments, honestly, is to see my members succeed. Members who have run 2 or 3 times, and they're sitting here in this legislature, and they're actually getting great bills through, and doing some fantastic work. I'm proud. I mean, that's one of the things I love about being caucus chair, is promoting my members and seeing the incredible work that they're doing. In fact, I can, for example, Monty Mason, who, there are bills that he was actually taken from him, which, I get it. But this year he's getting bills through, and he had a tough re-election campaign. But to see him thrive is very heartwarming, and I'm just proud of all of our members.
What is there? You mentioned Monty Mason from the Peninsula. Is there another member, relatively new, younger member that you feel is rising?
Oh, absolutely. Caucus? I mean, we have, when you say young, La Cherise Arad, out of the Petersburg area, the youngest woman ever elected to the General Assembly, a rock star. I mean, people are impressed by her. Her presentation is amazing. She's very thoughtful and careful about what she does, and just really smart. Sia Price from Newport News, another rock star, John Bell, who, from the Loudoun County area, another rock star. Just incredibly intelligent individuals, which is no surprise, but just to see them and the way that they have respect for their caucus members and respect for people on the other side of the aisle, and that they're able to get things done. And it's good to watch and see them thrive.
Well, it's great to get new young blood in there, no question. One of our favorites is Sam Rasool in Roanoke. I think he's done some excellent work on some issues. I have him on my show often. So look, it's always good to get new young people in, right? No doubt. We're with Delegate Charniele Herring. She's the Democratic Caucus chair. She's from Alexandria. She represents the 46th district. Final question. Delegate Herring, the Terry McAuliffe compromise on guns, do you favor it?
I mean, there are parts of it that I certainly support. By my vote, you can see I was very concerned about the reciprocity issue. Our laws in Virginia are strong, and I'm concerned about the effect of that piece. Just That's why I did not vote for that piece of the deal. But look, this is a step, and what I hope that we as legislators do is don't sit back and say, "Hey, well, we had a deal, we've done it," and wait another 20 years. I think that this is something that, gun violence is serious, and it's something that needs to take the partisan hats off and talk about the safety of Virginians, and at the same time protecting Second Amendment rights. I mean, I realize that has to happen as well. But this is an example of where people can sit down, they may have disagreements, but something happened which is good, and to take firearms away from those who are in abusive situations is a good thing. But we need to continue to look at this issue, and I hope that we do not just sit back next year and say, well, we did something last year. I hope that this is a continuing dialogue and discussion, and that everyone comes to the table.
Well, I think it was might have been Governor McAuliffe's finest moment. I think whenever you have a deal like this and no one's happy, it's a good deal, right? All right, we're out of time. I want to thank Democratic Minority Caucus Chair of the House of Delegates, Charniele Herring, for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.